everybody to our Ayurveda talk. I am Marie. I am an Ayurvedic health practitioner, and this is Tina, and she is an Ayurveda counselor. So we both do Ayurveda, but we are going to talk to you today about a couple of different things. First of all, in Ayurveda, we're always recognizing the season that we're in. We're paying attention to our environment. That means that when it's winter, we are adjusting our food and our lifestyle to make sure that we are receiving the nourishment and the rest needed as we go through a harsh time. And winter is harsh. And on that note, we are moving towards January 1st this week. And a lot of people make New Year's resolutions. And a resolution is a goal. And in Yoga and Ayurveda, that's called a sankalpa. And a sankalpa is an intention. It's like a seed that you are planting. However, I want to bring to mind that you do not plant seeds in winter. In fact, Tina and I just went for a really lovely walk, and it's very cold outside. And we were talking about how you do not plant seeds in the dead of winter. It's called the dead of winter for a reason. We are literally in the shortest days of the year right now. And that means the coldest time of the year right now, unless you're on the other side of the world where Australia and New Zealand is. They're in summer. We are in winter. We are in winter. And so we honor what's happening because our bodies are impacted by the elements that are moving through the atmosphere, which is ether and air. That is what's dominating the atmosphere in the winter. So we do not set goals or sankalpas or intentions January 1st. However, we contemplate. And there's a really cool thing that happens. And I was just telling our neighbor when we were going on our walk, and the neighbor was saying that she took down all of her lights. And I said, no, you're not supposed to take down your lights. You're not supposed to take down your lights because there are 12 days of Christmas. There's 12 days of Christmas. The first day of Christmas starts December 25th. And then for 12 days, that's Christmas. There are 12 days of Christmas. And as Tina grew up in Germany, and Tina and I were talking about it, and she was talking about how there's this really beautiful tradition that we can actually use as a way to help us cultivate the contemplative type of energies, which we really should be going inward and contemplating how we want to live our lives. And that's really what we should be doing, so that as spring comes, that's when you plant your seeds. That's when you set your goals, because the energy of spring will support the manifestation of those goals, of those intentions, of those seeds. So Tina's going to talk about the 12 days of Christmas, or just whatever. You could go ahead and talk about it however you want. So go ahead, Tina.
Yes, so the 12 days of Christmas, or so-called Rauhnächte, which would translate to rough nights, wild nights, or smoky nights, because you can burn incense every one of those nights, are a little ritual that connects you to yourself, to allow a quiet time at this time of the year, because it is the darkest time of the year. We're supposed to bring back light in, and it's asking you to, instead of doing intentions and new things that you want to do, first, like, think back, take some time and think back what the year has brought you, what has or has not been resolved, and then make room for new things to arise. You can write wishes before those 12 nights. I know it's already the 29th of December, so we can't write those 12 wishes anymore right now.
Well, but actually, we could start tonight, right?
Yeah, you can still start tonight, or the wishes are still gonna be there because they're in you. they're lingering maybe, but so you can allow them space to arise, even though you haven't written them down. And the idea is that every one of those nights, you either burn one of those wishes or you just do one little ritual where you light a little candle to bring the light back in. Then you take deep breaths, you slow down your breathing, sit for a minute to think about the past, what has been achieved this year, what hasn't, and soften everything. And then you can go a little forward and think what kind of new things can come up. And it's 12 nights. You can kind of connect those to the 12 coming month. If you wish. That's what I'm doing right now. So tonight will be night 6. And there is a lot of information out there. You can look things up, but whatever is comfortable for you to do. I also do write down a word every night I do it. Just a word that comes up, like energy, light, calm, whatever might arise, and you write that down. You can write down what kind of dream you've had. And in the morning when you're like, oh, I had a dream about this. So this time is to allow to be gentle, to be slower, and to let the light in with the light we create with the Christmas lights outside still, or the candle we light.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm doing that together with my cousin who's in Germany still. So we are kind of
doing it together.
And she has a book that she shares with me. So it's
what's the name of the book? Is there an English translation?
So it's called Rauhnächte. That's the German word. It's like,
I think you said
ritual.
Yule.
Yeah, Yule is another tradition.
Yule. Y-U-L-E. Yeah.
And then I know the Swedish tradition starts something on the 13th of December. It's the Santa Lucia that brings the light. And so it's a bunch of things. I think I'm doing like a mixed ritual with my Ayurvedic knowledge and the Rauhnächte,
and there's a lot of crossover with all these traditions. And that's why it's, even though we're talking about Ayurveda definitely supports this kind of tradition where you go inward. It's not an outward thing. It's an inward thing. And so one of the things that you could do, and you could start tonight. I was telling Tina, when I was growing up, my parents they didn't always have the money to celebrate on Christmas Day. So they would celebrate on the 12th day of Christmas. And we didn't know, we were little kids, right? It didn't matter to us. So what you can do is, as soon as you watch this video, you can start your first night of Christmas that night and think about each month, or like she said, go back and think about what is it in my life that I need to let go of, that I need to release. What new energy do I want to bring in? Because literally, we just had winter solstice. Winter solstice is the shortest day of the year, which means that we are moving forward, and every day now we are bringing in more light. Literally, we are receiving more light. So we're moving towards light, more light. And we have a new moon coming up on Friday as well. So if you wanted to start your 12 days of Christmas on that new moon, that would even give you more support towards new beginnings. And so each night you can either light a candle.
Yeah, I would say if you have a candle, light a candle. If not, imagine that there's a candle and just go inward.
So and then burn some incense.
Yes.
Incense is a good idea, or you could use sage, or there's a lot of different there's smoke is a cleansing. So you want to do incense, or like I said, sage, as a way to cleanse yourself. So light a candle, burn some incense or sage.
Yeah, I think I would do the burning ritual, the incense ritual at the end of the...
At the end? Okay.
At the end, once you have like calmed down and reflected, and then...
So maybe on the last day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
maybe you can do that every day. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? You can develop your own ritual, but you're going to do it for 12 nights. And just think about, okay, in January, what do I want? So on that first night, you're going to think about, what can I release in January that really is something that I need to let go of, and be gentle, because remember, January is part of winter. We need to be very gentle. We need to think about the fact that we are in a dormant time of the year. And then each month, maybe you could start bringing, like, February could be what's in my heart. March can be, what do I need to refresh?
Yeah.
April can be, what do I need to let blossom?
Yeah.
Right? And you literally can come up with a theme for each month, because each month does have its own representation.
Yeah. For example, April has a changing. It's like cold and it's warm again. It's like always, it can't make up its mind in April.
Yeah.
So that's something you could
Yeah.
connect with that, right?
Yes.
To get a little.
There's change going on. So this is just such a beautiful thing. And so we were talking about it. I thought, oh, this needs to be our Ayurveda talk tonight. I just love it. And the 12 days of Christmas, which poor Tina, she didn't get to learn when she was little, but we were all,
yes, I did.
we were all tortured when I was a little kid, and you would go to the winter choir and they would start singing the 12 days of Christmas, and you're like, oh no, the 12 days of Christmas, this song goes on forever, right? You're like, thank God they're on the 12th day. So anyway,
now it makes sense.
Yes. Anyway, so on that note, that is our talk for tonight, and we want to really support you in this contemplative time of year. So really go inward. That means you with you. Who are you? What is your authentic self? What really is burning to arise inside of you? And what do you need to let go of that's blocking that? Mm-hmm. And so that's really what you want to contemplate, right? How do I create a new beginning? Oftentimes we have to let go of stuff in order to bring in the new, right? You have any garden, you got to take out the weeds, you got to stir up the soil, you got to bring in the fertilizer. There's a lot of stuff you have to do to prepare your garden. And that is what you are doing. You are preparing your garden so that seeds can be planted and they can grow in spring. All right. So that's our talk for tonight. Thank you, Tina. You're so beautiful. Isn't she beautiful? I love her.